Oh, and then of course we're going to be talking about scoops. Here we go right here. So I posted this right here because this is funny because the reason why I posted this because, I mean, when it comes to, when it comes to this particular website right here, and I know there are some fans of it that are probably in the chat right now, and that's perfectly fine. If you want to be still fans with it, that's fine. But look at the headline right here. I mean, basically, I could just read this headline, and I figured out exactly how they came up with this headline. The Rock's Black Adam almost debuted in Snyderverse sequel. A lot of buzzwords right there. The Rock, Black Adam, Snyderverse sequel. A lot of stuff right there. So I just looked at this and I was like, oh yeah, just looking at the title, I was like, oh, I see what they did here. And I was like, it's almost like the whole 6 degree, remember the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, which essentially is just like you try to link Kevin Bacon with another actor, like a random actor that he might have not have worked with. So you link him with, two other actors that were in two other movies that linked to Kevin Bacon. It's pretty much what they did here. It's like, how do you take The Rock and Snyderverse and how do you combine them together into a headline? Well, let's see. Let's put it together. All right, well, we got Black Adam. Oh, that's right. Gavin O'Connor. And it's kind of funny, too, because we were talking about Gavin O'Connor's sequel on the Vodka stream this past Friday. Gavin O'Connor. He had the idea of doing Suicide Squad 2, where the Suicide Squad was going to go after Black Adam. Okay, so Black Adam and technically Suicide Squad 2 would be a sequel, maybe to, be a sequel to David Ayer's Suicide Squad. And Michael DeLuca. Remember, he is a Snyderverse producer. We'll put that name on him. He's a Snyderverse producer. So that means he was going to produce this movie. So that means right there, we got Snyderverse, we got sequel, even though technically it's not really a sequel. It's more of a spin-off, I guess you could say. And there you go. There's our title right there. That's how you figure it out right there. That's how you get that title. And very clickbaity. It's old news. There's articles that you could dig up. People are even responding with that. It's old news where you could just be like, oh yeah, there was a talk about Black Adam being in Suicide Squad 2 and all that stuff. I'm just wondering if in this article, do they mention the fact that Gavin O'Connor was there to basically, shut out David Ayer because they didn't want that and they were trying to shy away from the Snyderverse? You realize this is the old regime, right? But hey, whatever you do, it's all for the clicks right there. All for the clicks. And I'm just kind of pointing that out. And of course I get the people who are very much the defenders of some of this stuff right here, and they get all huffy puffy, and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just pointing out how they came up with this headline right here. And it's very much, there's going to be like very much a 6 Degrees of Snyderverse and how you connect it right there and how you make that title. So yeah. But it's not like it's a scoop or anything like that. Again, the information's been out there for a while that Suicide Squad 2 was going to be, the idea was going to have them go after Black Adam. But it's just kind of funny when you just link it up to Snyderverse like that. It's like, oh, okay. But at the same time, when it came to them bringing in Gavin O'Connor for a Suicide Squad sequel, they were very much trying to get away from the Snyderverse a little bit, even though Gavin O'Connor's Suicide Squad 2 sounded pretty cool, to be honest. So, all right, so let's talk about this other article from THR that was written by a lot of people know Richard Newby. Oh, I don't know if I ever say his last name wrong, but it kind of talks about, it talks about the scooping game, but it's not talking about the scooping game that we, we'll talk about or reference to every now and again when it comes to the DCU and the Snyderverse and all that stuff. But it's talking about, because a lot of people were kind of going like, again, we're like, is Henry Cavill going to be at this? Is he going to be here? Does he have a role in the MCU? What is it, And it's just kind of funny because, there's all that talk and whatever. So he wrote an article about this. And here's the title right here. It says, Marvel disappointed the rumor mill at D23. That's right. And look at that. We got Henry Cavill and, of course, Jodie Comer right there. As the dust settled on Marvel's D23 presentation, fans had a number of reveals to chew on, from castings of all that. Yeah. What they didn't get, Henry Cavill and Jodie Comer in the MCU, or complete castings of the Fantastic Four that were rumored on Twitter, despite these rumors having no apparent basis in reality. Yes, the rumor mill is always churning. Fans crave the knowledge of what's coming down the pipeline to see their speculations validated and their impatience alleviated. It's mostly understandable and in good fun. Mostly. that he says, but false scoops have begun to impact, however slightly, the public opinion on official announcements and even shape the conversations surrounding films. It's ultimately a minor concern at present in the grand scheme of things, but interesting in respects to how social media continues to drive fan culture and how that relationship will continue to evolve. Hopefully it doesn't really get too crazy, because yes, it's getting to the point where it's like you just got a new website that just shows up with some other bullshit scoop all the time. Reading scoops is often part of the excitement of many fans, and there are a good handful of scoopers who are consistently reliable. I mean, pick and choose whoever. I mean, there's sometimes where I could, see some people and think, yeah. But again, I always say, when it comes to the scooping game, they're not batting 1,000. They're not batting 0, okay? I mean, there should be, maybe we'll come up with some kind of fucking scooper rating system. That should be the next thing. What's the average of this scooper? Take all their fucking headlines and everything like that. Sounds like a pretty taxing and tedious process, but take all their shit and then create some batting averages, okay? Because, obviously the diehard fans will say, they're always right. They're always right. And then, of course, the people that hate them will say, they're always wrong. They're always wrong, when it's never the case, like I always say. But, I kind of wonder, what would that batting average be when it comes to that? But if you haven't read this article, please do yourself a favor. I'm not going to obviously go through the whole thing. But, it's a good article. It's a well-written article. But beyond the immediate disappointment from some fans about the panel not lining up with a scooper's claim, there's also an effect on reactions to films themselves. We saw some of this with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which had some fans working off rumors from reliable sources, going in expecting an equivalent of Secret Wars rather than a Doctor Strange sequel. Yes, and even certain ones, one that I might have mentioned earlier, was saying that this person was going to be there, that person was going to be there, that person was going to be there. That's the thing. I think they were talking about possibly a Wolverine. Oh yeah, the Tony Stark Iron Man. It was all that, there's headlines from that. And I'll always get the people, but they're always right. No, they're not. Yeah. Oh, and Chris Evans coming back as Hydra Cap. And also Tom Cruise as the Superior Iron Man. Yes, exactly. That was a big scoop, and everybody was trying to claim it as their own, and then nobody wanted to claim it after the movie came out because it was bullshit. Absolute bullshit. But yeah, it's a good article. Like I said, go and read it. And it's just, I don't see the scooping game getting any worse. Obviously, I've even said to you guys too, is when it comes to Scoopy Pants, which we all know, Umberto, and good old, their sources are getting They probably barely have sources now. They really do. They probably barely do, because the ones that they did have are either gone or they're going to be gone, because Zaslav is trying to plug all the holes, all the leaks in that company to make sure things don't leak out. So that's what he's trying to do. There's still going to be leaks no matter what. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. We have information everywhere, and you can easily get some of that stuff, but at the same time, I like the fact that he is trying to plug those leaks. But yeah, good article. Read it. And, scooping game ain't going anywhere. But, pick and choose. Pick and choose. Don't just choose the ones that tell you what you want to hear. Try to figure out how legit some of these people are. Because some of them are just grifting up like a mother effer, all right?